Katie unlocked the door to her new house. It stood on a quiet street in a peaceful suburb. Trees lined the sidewalks, their leaves rustling softly. She had saved for years for this moment. This was her fresh start, her own little haven. The rooms smelled of new paint and old wood. Sunlight streamed through the clean windows. Katie imagined happy days here, quiet evenings, and a life far from city noise. She smiled, feeling a sense of hope bloom in her chest. This was going to be good. This house felt right, like a place where nothing bad could ever happen. The backyard was a bit wild, but Katie had plans. She wanted a colorful flower garden. She dreamed of a small patio for summer barbecues, maybe a comfy chair for reading under the shade of the big oak tree. So, one sunny Saturday morning, she put on her gardening gloves. She grabbed a shovel, ready to work. The earth was soft in most places. She dug up stubborn weeds and turned over the soil. The sun felt warm on her back. Birds sang in the branches above. It was an ordinary day filled with ordinary tasks and simple dreams for her new home. Suddenly, her shovel hit something hard. Clang. The sound was sharp, unexpected. It wasn't a rock. Katie frowned, puzzled. She knelt and brushed away the loose dirt. What could be buried here? She dug more carefully now, her curiosity growing. The object was long and wrapped in something rough. It felt heavy, really heavy. She pushed and pulled, her breath coming in short gasps. Slowly, painstakingly, she managed to drag part of it out of the shallow hole. It was a rug, an old, tightly rolled rug, caked with damp earth and smelling faintly of decay. The rug was thick and its colors, though faded, were dark. Reds and deep blues peeked through the grime. It looked ancient, like something forgotten for a very long time. Katie stood back, wiping sweat from her forehead. Why would someone bury a rug in the backyard? It seemed strange, a little bit odd. She wondered if the previous owners knew about it. Her mind raced with possibilities. Maybe it was just old trash, or maybe, just maybe, it was something more. A little shiver, not entirely from the cool breeze, ran down her spine. Katie thought the buried rug was peculiar. She decided to share her strange discovery online. "Look what I found in my new backyard," she typed, adding a short video. She posted it to TikTok, not expecting much. Maybe a few friends would see it. Perhaps someone would have a funny explanation. She figured it was just a quirky thing to happen while settling into a new place. She went inside to make some lemonade, the image of the dirty rug still in her mind. She had no idea what she had just started with that simple, innocent post. The video took off, fast. Faster than she could have ever imagined. Thousands of views turned into tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands. Comments flooded in. People were fascinated. "Is it a treasure map?" one asked. "Maybe it's haunted," another joked. Speculation ran wild. Some people offered advice on how to clean it. Others warned her to be careful. Katie found herself checking her phone constantly, amazed by the sudden attention. Her little backyard discovery had become an internet sensation. She felt a strange mix of excitement and a tiny bit of unease. Then, the odd things started. That evening, the lights in her kitchen began to flicker. On, off, on again. Katie checked the bulbs, then the fuse box. Everything seemed normal. Later, her new television suddenly went black, right in the middle of her favorite show. It wouldn't turn back on. She tried unplugging it, waiting, then plugging it back in. Nothing, just a dead screen. A cold feeling started to creep into the edges of her excitement. These were small things, she told herself. Coincidences. Surely they had nothing to do with the rug still lying outside. Her cat, Whiskers, began to act strangely too. Whiskers was usually a calm, cuddly cat. Now he seemed on edge. He would stare at empty corners of the room, his fur slightly raised. He hissed at shadows that weren't there. He refused to go near the back door, the one closest to where the rug lay. If Katie picked him up and tried to carry him towards the backyard, he would struggle and scratch to get away. His green eyes, usually so placid, were wide with something that looked like fear. This, more than anything, started to truly worry Katie. Animals sense things, didn't they? Katie's initial curiosity about the rug slowly turned into a growing dread. The strange occurrences were no longer isolated incidents. They were becoming more frequent, more unsettling. Doors would creak open on their own. even when there was no breeze. She would hear faint whispers when no one else was home, sounds like dry leaves skittering across a floor. Sometimes she felt a cold spot in a room, even on a warm day. Sleep became difficult. Every little noise made her jump. She started to feel like she was not alone in her new house, and the presence felt unwelcome, almost menacing. Online, the tone of the comments on her TikTok videos began to change. The jokes and light-hearted speculation lessened. Now, people expressed genuine concern. "Katie, this is getting scary," one follower wrote. "Maybe you should call someone," another suggested. "That rug is bad news. Get rid of it." Some even shared their own spooky stories. The online community that had been so excited now seemed worried for her. Their fear mirrored her own, amplifying it. She read their messages late into the night, the glow of her phone screen the only light in her darkened living room, making the shadows dance. One afternoon, there was a firm knock on her front door. Katie's heart leaped into her throat. She wasn't expecting anyone. Peeking through the curtains, she saw a police car parked at the curb. 2 officers stood on her porch. It turned out that so many people had reported her situation online, concerned for her safety, that the local police decided they had to investigate. Katie felt a strange mix of relief and embarrassment. She explained everything: the rug, the strange happenings, her growing fear. The officers listened patiently, their expressions serious. They said they needed to see the rug. The officers went into the backyard with Katie. They carefully began to unroll the heavy, damp rug. It smelled even worse now, a musty, earthy odor that made Katie feel sick. As they unrolled it, flakes of dried mud and fabric fell away. Tucked deep within the folds, almost hidden, were several small, brittle pieces of paper. They looked like old notes, the ink faded and smudged. One of the officers, using gloves, picked one up. He also pointed to some small, discolored fragments caught in the rug's fibers. "We'll need to take this with us, ma'am," he said, his voice grave, "and these notes." The police took the rug and the strange, brittle notes away for forensic analysis. The small fragments found within its fibers were also collected, their nature still a grim uncertainty. Katie watched them go, a profound sense of unease settling over her. The notes had looked ancient, the handwriting spidery and hard to decipher in the brief moment she saw them. What secrets did they hold? What story was woven into the very fabric of that terrible rug? She knew with a chilling certainty that she could not spend another night in that house. The peace she had sought there was shattered, replaced by a cold, persistent fear. She packed a small bag, her hands trembling. The dream of a happy home, a quiet suburban life, had turned into a nightmare. She called a friend and arranged to stay with her, far away from the house and its buried secrets. Leaving felt like a defeat, but also an escape. As she drove away, she didn't look back at the little house on the quiet street. It no longer felt like hers. It felt tainted, holding on to something dark that had been disturbed. The sun was setting, casting long, eerie shadows that seemed to reach out from the backyard she had once been so excited about. Weeks turned into months. The police investigation into the rug and its contents yielded very little. The notes were old, filled with rambling, incoherent sentences and strange symbols. They offered no clear clues, no names, no explanations. The small fragments were inconclusive, too degraded to identify properly. The mystery of who buried the rug and why remained unsolved. The story faded from TikTok, replaced by new trends, new mysteries. But for Katie, the experience left a permanent scar. The world felt a little less safe, a little more sinister. Katie never returned to the house. She sold it at a loss, unable to shake the feeling of dread associated with it. She tried to move on, to forget the flickering lights, the strange noises, and Whisker's terrified reactions. But some things, once unearthed, can never truly be buried again. The memory of the rug and the unanswered questions it raised lingered like a persistent chill. She learned a hard lesson. Some doors are best left unopened, some secrets are meant to stay hidden deep within the earth, and some backyards hold more than just soil and roots.